Well, we got to finish our discussion on the Acolyte.
Oh yeah, I saw Red Letter Media. They came out with their like apology video, basically.
I have to apologize to Star Wars man.
It sounded, based on the way they were talking, like they did receive a lot of more pushback than they're used to, right?
They got some comments of the asshole-ish variety.
Yeah, like, watch it, guys. You're gonna have a Reddit made about you.
Of the asshole-ish variety.
But I mean, yeah, and they apologized to the Star Wars Theory, although they called him Star Wars Man.
Star Wars Man.
The man on the internet, Star Wars man.
Star Wars Theory put up a video responding to that, and he was very good-natured about it. He was like cracking up. He was like, "They know my name, Star Wars Man."
Wait, what the fuck? Why am I Star Wars Man, bro? Why can't it be Star Wars Theory? I'm a Star Wars Man. He knows my name.
He's like, "That's a cool name." And then finally Mike does go, "I think it's Star Wars Theory." And Theory's like, he knew it. He knew it the whole time.
I publicly apologize to Star Wars man. I think his name is Star Wars Theory man.
He does know my name. He was capping the whole time. You knew my name, baby.
Then he said the Theory Sabers. He's like, "Oh, they plugged my brand. I'm good."
Saw that. Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, Theory Sabers." I thought that was kind of charming.
Theory Sabers?
Oh, you fucking dude. You shout out the freaking Sabers, baby. Ah, this guy's getting the like.
Boy, do people hate that Star Wars Theory guy. My goodness. Especially Reddit. Holy shit. They don't like
it. I don't go on Reddit, so I don't know what people like and don't like about YouTubers.
Well, again, it's like he's the biggest Star Wars YouTube channel, right? So he's obviously very, very, very popular and very successful, and yet very maligned.
I don't know. He likes way more Star Wars than I do, so he's very generous to Star Wars.
Mike apologized for making fun of anybody for caring about the minute details of lore. And he's like, and the reason is because, like, I would do that with Star Trek. I get frustrated when Star Trek creators don't know what came before.
Star Wars fans love their details in canon. I love my details in canon in Star Trek. Not so much anymore. And I said, Jesus, don't get all bent out of shape out of this. There's starving people in the world to worry about.
I was like, yeah, of course. Like, you can't, are there more important things in the world than Kiadi-Mundi's birthday? Of course. But if you're going to make a Star Wars show, like, one of the things that you're meant to be responsible for is that you're making something that's part of a bigger thing. It's not just your own little personal sandbox,
Well, it's not your Star Wars. It's everyone's Star Wars. It's George Lucas's Star Wars. And we need to understand that everything that came before has to be respected.
It's my story. That's why I'm the only one who's going to watch it.
I will be the most powerful Jedi ever.
So the ending of the Acolyte, spoiler alert, it didn't end good. It didn't pull it off in the end.
But I was right. I think that behind the scenes, Leslie Headland is laughing. And she's going, ha ha ha, they have no idea. They don't know that I'm going to draw a direct line to the Anakin thing. The dark magic that where you can birth kids with the Force came from the witches, and Plagueis somehow they're gonna somehow get this to Plagueis. I think. Remember, I said like Plagueis is part of this. Given that the show did nothing, pulling Plagueis out at the last second feels like maybe they'll do it. Maybe the siblings come back together and become Dark Jedi, and then maybe they mentored Darth Plagueis. Now, she didn't do anything with it. She just had Darth Plagueis hiding behind a rock.
Yeah, he hides behind, and he peers from this rock, and he's looking at nothing. Like they even do they kind of show where he's looking, and there's nothing.
Nothing.
What am I supposed to take from this? There's no. It's just key jangling. It's just there he is.
I took it further. I thought that his master was one of the moms or something.
They didn't do that.
What I'd like to do is go through just the events of the finale, because we do have a bunch of people who did not watch the show but do watch our videos. It's been revealed that Sol was responsible for killing the mom. When the episode starts, Osha is still with Smilow Ren, and Mae is with Sol, and it culminates in a battle between Smilow Ren and Sol. and a fight between Osha and Mae, and it's a little crouching tiger, hidden dragon. I was watching the sisters fight, and I was like, I actually don't even, at this point, don't know why the sisters are fighting, I felt like.
And the confusing part is they change clothes, and they also have no personalities. So like it's doubly confusing because they kind of switch it that like Osha is more aligned with the dark side at this point for some reason, maybe because she saw Asian Ezra Miller's dick, and then Mae is like sort of good.
And the dialogue before ChatGPT, before the kind of new era of AI, do you remember those jokes that they were like, I had AI write a script, it's like a Hallmark Christmas movie or something, and
yes,
it was very robotic and ridiculous. This reads like that to me. A lot of people are like, this sounds like it was written by AI. I was like, no, it sounds like those Hallmark memes wrote it.
Where are we?
Brandok.
Why?
I will contact Master Vanestra. The Jedi will meet us here.
Why?
There is a vengeance on this planet. Now that you and Osha are both alive, I can prove it.
Prove it. Prove what? That murdering our mother was justified? Oh, because you didn't want me to become a Jedi. I didn't do this. Soul lied to you. He blamed me. Soul never blamed you. He tried to teach me to accept that someone that I love could be capable of this level of destruction. And I failed. I could never learn to calm my negative emotions.
Smilo is probably the most interesting character in theory, much like Kylo was, actually. Seems like Disney Star Wars seems to find like halfway decent Sith and then doesn't quite know what to do with them.
Yeah, it's these like weaselly dark people, like
nerds who got made fun of in high school and became like very powerful Sith, and
and they make them sexy for some reason, like sexy incels for some reason.
Yeah, they somehow coerce Soul into admitting that he was the one who killed the moms.
I want him to confess what he did.
I did the right thing.
You killed our mother.
Yes.
Is that true?
I was protecting you. It was the right thing to do.
And so Osha overhears that, and she starts force choking him in this very dramatic way.
People on Twitter were saying that's like, this is the origin of the force choke, but which would be even more cringe.
I heard that Jeremy Johns guy was like, I always just thought force choke was just something any Jedi could do, but only Dark Jedi do it because it's kind of cheap.
That's the payoff to in the beginning where Smilo Ren's like, you shouldn't use a laser or a knife.
You have to kill the Wookiee without a weapon.
And I will kill one of them without a weapon. And please the master.
I always thought Jedi were kind of immune to force choking because they could just use their like force. Like you use force choking on those admirals who are pieces of shit.
Yeah, I've never seen Darth Vader just start choking Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, it's not going to work. Didn't Luke force choke the pig guards in Return of the Jedi? That was force choke, wasn't it?
I mean, it's just their neck. You just squeeze it. It should be an easy thing. It shouldn't be like an origin story for that.
Much the way we got to learn what Han Solo's last name is. We got to learn how force choke was made.
What's your name, son?
Han.
What? Who are your people?
I don't have people. I'm alone.
Solo.
He's like supposed to be the bad guy at the end, it seems like. But I feel like when she kills him, you're supposed to be like, yeah, you get that Squid Game guy. And then to add insult to injury, Leslie Headland's wife there frames him for everything, which is totally like a weird thing for all the Jedi to do. Everything feels wrong. It feels so wrong.
So she turns to the dark side. There's also kind of the origin of the red lightsaber.
Oh yeah, because she bleeds on the lightsaber.
That's meant to explain what a red lightsaber is. Other people were like, well, how come Anakin Skywalker's?
And other people are like, it's because she physically bled on it because the crystal was exposed. Because this.
Yeah, all right, and so yeah, so they cover it up. They tamper with evidence. Leslie Headland's wife briefs Yoda, who theoretically has no questions at all and senses nothing. So it's just really very strong writing all around. And Osha becomes the new apprentice to the Sith Lord, and together they're very sexy and self-actualized. And she even gets to have like a really tender moment with her sister, and they kind of have reunited. And so ultimately, the Sith are the good guys in this show for sure.
Absolutely, it's not even a question. What are we talking about?
And they wipe Mae's memory, and then she's like with the Jedi, who she doesn't know who she is. And they establish this thing where they're supposed to be the same person, and it sounds like really important. Like, oh, they're one person with two bodies.
You and Osha are not twins. You're not even sisters. You're not twins. You and Osha are the same person. I don't know how your mother did it, but it has something to do with a vengeance on this planet.
But that never pays off, and it never matters at all. Like, they just functionally act as like distinct twins.
They are independent of each or do they just mean like biologically they're clones? But isn't that also true of regular twins anyhow? But here's my big thing. For many episodes now, I've been complaining about how this whole show is trying to do the subversive reframing of like, we don't even know what good and bad is. I called it postmodern at one point. I've called it political at others. These are words that people will be you can't call it what it is, actually. Like there's no terminology that will be accepted by some of the audience. I'm like, well, it's at least postmodern. So this is like this morally relativistic thing. I think it would be one thing if it was like Tales from the Jedi, where Count Dooku has been failed to some degree by the Jedi. Because, the Jedi aren't perfect. They failed to mentor Anakin. They failed to prevent him from falling to the dark side.
I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you.
But at the end of the day, their mission is on the side of truth and justice. Sith are people who use anger, hatred, fear, selfishness. Essentially, when the dark side takes you over, you allow a demon to possess you for immediate short-term power and gain. That's the point of it. It's not just some other different opinion.
Below the surface of consciousness are powerful emotions. Anger, fear, loss, desire.
That's the path to the dark side.
Semantics.
Just something that you can, just wear black and be a little cool and stronger.
So you can't be like, oh, these two Sith Lords are now self-actualized. No, they've given into evil. It's like if you had a Christian movie and you showed some failures of like Christian leadership or of church leadership, and then at the end of the movie they were like, so maybe Satanism is right for you. Because in Star Wars, like the Force and Jedi are meant to be a good thing, or at the very least, the light side of the Force is meant to be a good thing, and the dark side is meant to be despair and hopelessness and selfishness. And like I always imagine, like the Emperor, after decades of toying with black magic, is just completely consumed by it. The same with Darth Vader; he can't even feel his own emotions anymore. They're putting themselves in a grave intentionally, and we're supposed to celebrate this and clap for this. In the case of Osha,
it's bad. It's wrong.
I mean, you got the dark side, the light side. One is selfless, one is selfish. The pleasure factor of greed and of selfishness is a short-lived experience. Therefore, you're constantly trying to replenish it. But of course, the more you replenish it, the harder it is to, so you have to keep upping the ante. The Sith are always unhappy because they never get enough of anything they want. Mostly their selfishness centers around power and control. And of course, that's the problem with Anakin ultimately is you're allowed to love people, but you're not allowed to possess them. So in order to not lose her, he made a pact with the devil to be able to become all-powerful. The dark side is pleasure, biological, and temporary, and easy to achieve. The light side is joy, everlasting, and difficult to achieve. Amen. Now let us pray.
The Count Dooku thing in the first 3 episodes of Tales from the Jedi, I thought did it beautifully. You totally understand where he's coming from. You understand why he feels disillusioned by the Jedi, but then he takes the easy, as Yoda calls it, the easy path, the quick and easy path.
If you choose the quick and easy path, as Vader did, you will become an agent of evil.
And he kills Yaddle. So his story ends with, it's a bad ending for him. This story ends with it's a good ending that she's on the dark side. It seems to me like the perspective of the show, the perspective of the narrator in the show is this is good for her.
I'm so sorry, but the dark side is cooler.
It just is. I mean, that's why I was driven to write this story.
It's the kind of like, screw it all. Like I love about the Sith part that I'm just like, you know what? Burn it all down.
And this flawed man's soul gets to die and get shit on and
die in disgrace.
Gets choked while he's like saying that he loves her. Oh god.
We're supposed to like celebrate this.
Because I love.
Again, like if this was about his redemption or this was about her coming to terms with it or whatever, but like the show is like, no, the just thing would be for her to choke him, kill him, embrace her sister, and go on her journey, go on her path to hell. It's hard to imagine a more fundamental misunderstanding of Star Wars than this.
I would be questioning the whole system of saying what is light and what is dark, not existing inside of either side.
Yeah, I saw some of the Nielsen ratings for this, just like the watch hours. It's low. Like, so at the end of the Red Letter Media video of this one, they harped on the hate watching thing again.
Going to watch it over and hate watch it just draws attention to it. Just bow out. Shut it off. Don't tell others to watch it. because it's so terrible, because it's a Chinese finger trap.
Nobody's watching this. Nobody's hate watching it.
I feel like we're all pretty happy to be standing in George's shadow, for sure.
People give me about Jar Jar Binks and say, oh, this is stupid. Well, you happy I'm gone now? You don't have Daddy to kick around anymore because this is what you get. Ready? At the very end, Star Wars dies.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.